then I'm gonna say what I thought I said. I'm not gonna interrupt you, and you're not gonna interrupt me. Now, let's stop right there. No, stop! You're interrupting me telling you.
You used my body to build this empire.
And I'm gonna get your OnlyFans ban too. I'm gonna spend tonight disassembling this entire empire.
I didn't say you were crazy.
No! I'm gonna irrevocably destroy everything.
Like, it's never good enough. I don't get days off. He's saying he's gonna sell my horses because I'm not hitting 20K, 15K average viewers, threatening to kill my dogs. I'm so tired of it.
So, if you don't know who Amouranth is, right, you do not need to go look her up. I can give you the gist of it here. Is Amouranth is a Twitch streamer who is a woman. Her streams are very provocative in nature. We'll just say that. But it seems as if this weekend she came out with a video where it was explaining basically an abusive situation in which her husband, he's a very manipulative person, forces her to stream, forces her to do all these things more or less against her will with threats and stuff like that. To put it very simply, it is the definition of sex trafficking. People might hear that and think that's a harsh word to use, but it's the definition of sex trafficking, manipulating people to do sexual actions or work in order that they do it, right, for money. Yeah, it is sad. It is a heartbreaking situation, and this man is a manipulator. He is evil. It is very, very sad. How do we know it's true? It seems as if this is true, right? If all this is true, right, it is a horrible situation. There's a couple things that come to my mind, right? The first thing is that we need to be praying for her. She is in a horrible situation where she is being manipulated, something she does not deserve at all, right? We need to be praying for her and her heart that the Lord would simply rescue her from this situation. Secondly, we need to be praying for her husband. I know that might be the hard thing to say, and that man deserves to go to jail, but we need to be praying for her husband's heart, that the Lord would radically do something in her husband's heart as well. Like, he needs Jesus bad. Like, you know what I mean? Like not because to become a better person, but because to be saved, right? Like to experience God's grace, right? Like, that man needs Jesus, right? Not for the good works, but rather to be redeemed, because as much as anybody, as much as it's a hard thing to say in this world, people will easily say pray for her, but they'll never say pray for her husband. And we need to be praying for her husband to be redeemed, because nobody is too far. There is nobody too far from the Lord, in that sense, right? Even the most wicked person can be redeemed. So we need to be praying for her husband. It seems as if she isn't even in control of any of her money, like not in control of any of her money, doesn't have access to any of her accounts. But the claim she's made is that her husband is the one who has access and owns every penny she's ever made through this industry anyways. So like, I understand, like she's not even the one making the money. So like, obviously she's like, there's something sinful about the whole thing, right? I'm not saying there isn't a problem with what she does, but like, she's being manipulated by her husband, like manipulated to, hey, make sure you make this type of content so that we can make money. And when it says we can make money, it really means he can make money. So like, you want to talk about like sex trafficking? It's literally it. It's literally it. While I said that she does Twitch content, right? She also does a different type of content. I don't know if anyone has heard of OnlyFans. I think the vast majority of our audience right now is older and more mature, so they can handle this because school is in session. So that's why I feel comfortable talking about this on stream. And in this OnlyFans content, you can only imagine what's there. I've never seen it, don't want to see it, right? Have no desire to see it, right? But you can imagine what OnlyFans content is, and what OnlyFans content is simply paid porn. Like, whether it's pictures or videos, that is my understanding of the site, is that it is basically subscription-based porn that you get to see, and based on a tier. It's porn's version of Patreon, right? And it is a horrible thing that has just become normalized in this world, that it's okay for women to objectify themselves. People in this world literally call it empowering for people to sell videos and pictures of themselves in an explicit position for money. Like, they call that empowerment for women. Women empowerment is not seeing yourself as just a sexual object. You, like, women are so much more than that. Not even that, like, worth of so much more value than that. And the fact that this world encourages stuff like that makes me want to puke. There's basically this idea on Twitter and this idea in the world that this is just an isolated situation, that this has nothing to do with the culture that has been created around sex work, to be kind of frank of what it is, right? There's a problem here that someone is being taken advantage of, and people are isolating this incident, and it's not an isolated incident. That this is a problem in which women all over the world have had problems for years on years of being forced to do X, Y, and Z because they put themselves into this world, right? Or they get put into this world, not necessarily all themselves, but they get put into this horrible world where they are forced to do X, Y, and Z, or, you know, they're like, oh, I want money, so I'm gonna be able to, you know, go do a couple videos and, oh wow, easy money, right? Like, make my bag real quick. And people are like, oh yeah, that's okay to do. Is like, hey, I'm gonna go, quote unquote, like, make my bag real quick and make my money.
Keep your head on a swivel.
The problem is with this is there's so many women in this world that come into the industry to make a quick bag, and then they get forced to do things that they are not comfortable with, right? That they have no desire to do, but yet they are forced to do it, like, and bribed and saying like, hey, if you don't do X, Y, and Z, then we'll tell everybody about you doing X, Y, and Z. And these women have no choice to say no at a point, which is just saddening. Apparently she makes about $3 million. He said he will settle this privately, but she will get $1 million and he gets the rest plus 10% of future. It's unbelievable. Facts. And people are starting to understand how destructive it is for all of us. There's a battle going on with it outside of religion. Facts. 100%. There needs to be a battle with it outside of religion. Like, this is a not religious take. This is a truth take, right? Is that pornography kills your brain. Like, literally kills your brain. It manipulates your brain to see people not as people, right? Like, it makes people see, like, you start to see women, you start to see children, I don't know about children, I can't actually speak to that, but like, you start to see women as objects, like straight up objects because of pornography, like, right? Like, there is a detriment to people's brains if they watch this stuff, right? It is horrible. It is horrible. The ways people's lives are being manipulated. People aren't willing to talk about that part. The man or the woman who watches pornography every single day of the week, their minds are being destroyed, like literally destroyed. I have friends that have given me testimonies in which when they go to the grocery store, they can't do anything but look at a woman and think what they do, like, for them physically, right? They are just in a straight state of detriment of, they have no hope for them. Like, they have no hope inside of them. Like, they look at people and all they see of them is sexual objects because of what's going on, right? It's terrible. It's terrible. And I think we need to start talking about the dangers of the porn industry. First off, to the woman himself, like to the people inside of it. They are being manipulated and forced to do things far past what they thought they wanted to do, past what they were willing to do, right? There are people that are stuck doing horrible things, right? And then we need to talk about how the porn industry impacts other people, right? And when I'm talking about people, I'm talking about the consumer, right? The consumer of the porn is absolutely destroyed by it. Like, it destroys marriages. I'm gonna go here. It doesn't even destroy the consumer, but it destroys the people that is surrounded by the consumer, right? It destroys marriages. It destroys families. It destroys kids, right? There's reasons why people get divorced because of porn addictions, right? And one thing I've talked about is so many people come in here and say like, hey, I struggle with porn, right? And we have the verse, Psalm 119, 9-11, right? That how does a man keep his way pure? By guarding it close according to his word, right? That we love the scriptures and the sin starts to fall away, right? And I'll say this is, praise God, he has never let me fall addicted to porn, right? I'm not gonna say I've never watched it because as a kid, right, friends show you, right, and you're just like enticed of like, oh, what is all this? Because it's so different, so new, right? But I've never been addicted, right? But I won't say that I never watched it when I was younger, right? So like there's that balance. I wasn't addicted, but can't say I never watched it, right? I heard someone say this before of, yes, we want to point people to God's word, but at the same time, and if you struggle with porn, I want you to hear this. Every time you watch that site, every time you click on that video, you are enabling sex trafficking. You think it's just affecting you, but it's affecting everybody else around you, and it's affecting the people that you won't even watch, right? That there are kids, that there are young children that are being ripped away from their parents by kidnapping, by selling, so that they could go and be made sexual objects. And every time you go onto that website and you click on that video, you might not see it, but that is what's happening, right? There is a whole back door of this whole industry that people are unwilling to talk about. So you want to say, oh, this doesn't affect anyone but me. It affects so many people outside of yourself, not just your family, but people you will never see. You will never see. Every time you click on that video, you are equipping someone to be taken from their family, taken, kidnapped, and made a sexual object for other people's enjoyment for the rest of their lives. And if you can't do it for yourself, right? If you can't do it for your family, do it for the 11-year-old girl in the Philippines that's going to get ice cream and is kidnapped, put into a van, and for the rest of her life, 20 times a day, she's told, hey, you're gonna have sex with this guy. Like if you aren't gonna do it for yourself or your family, which I don't think is enough, right? But do it for the 11-year-old girl, because every time you watch that video, you are supporting that. When I heard that, I have never even thought or wanted to click on another site. Like I said, I've never been addicted, but I never even wanted to do it for the second of entertainment. When I heard that that's what happens, it ended it so quickly for me. I was like, I'm not even, doesn't even make me think about it, right? And while yes, how does a man keep his way pure? By keeping it close to your word. Love the scriptures. It does change us. But if you love God and love people, do not click on that site for the sake of children. And if you do struggle with that, right? Do not be ashamed, right? I think we have this idea in Christian culture that when we struggle with sin, don't tell people about it, right? That I'm not supposed to tell people about it. Put your pride to the side, right? Put your pride to the side for two reasons. One, it doesn't honor God, right? Put your pride to your side. Sin does not honor God. Second, it does not help your relationship with other people, right? When it comes, if you are addicted to porn, if you are a 15-year-old kid, and for the 15-year-old kids that is watching this, or for the 30-year-old kid, for the 30-year-old man, or the 80-year-old man, or the 50-year-old man, or the 30-year-old woman that's been addicted and felt trapped and has no way out, go and tell people. Go and tell people. The biggest thing that the devil wants to do is not have anybody learn about our sin, right? The best way for us to stay in sin is to stay in isolation, right? When the book of Galatians say, hey, let everyone else know that what your burdens is so that they may help carry your burdens. This is part of what it's talking about. If you struggle with sin, please, 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 please tell people about it, right? I'm not saying you have to go post it on Twitter and say, hey, I'm addicted to pornography. That's not what I'm saying, right? But if you're a 15-year-old kid, go tell your mother. Go tell your father, right? They love you, right? Especially if you're following Jesus, right? Go tell your parents, right? The other option is that you're gonna keep it in yourself, right? And it's just gonna it's gonna stay in this lie that the enemy's gonna tell you that if you were to tell someone else about where you fall short, that they're gonna hate you. That is not true. That is not true. I'm gonna use this analogy later, right? But if I'm a kid and I am skateboarding blindly into the street, like, you know, those houses that have like the slants down that are so much fun to skateboard or rollerblade down, right? Those are so much fun to watch, right? But if you don't check if there's any cars coming, there's danger to it, right? And continuing to watch porn, continuing to play a part in this industry is like, hey, it might not affect this time, but eventually you're gonna get hit by the car, right? If you don't check, if you're gonna go down the hill and go into the street, you're gonna eventually get hit by the car. And if you don't, like you got lucky, right? Because someone else is gonna be hit by the car. And any loving parent will go in and rip you away from that street and say no, right? Not because they're mean, not because they don't want you to have fun, right? But they know that what you're doing will kill you, right? Guys, like, I'm not saying it's gonna kill you in the sense of like you're gonna die because of it, but you're gonna face God's wrath, 1, and 2, it's gonna kill other parts of your life. It's gonna kill your relationships. It's gonna kill the way you see people, and run from it in every aspect that you can. Like, tell your parents, tell your best friend, that person that you know follows Jesus and loves Jesus and loves you, go tell that person, hey, I struggle with this, right? There's people that say, oh, you can't tell me that I'm not having fun, or I'm not happy doing the porn industry, or I don't enjoy watching porn or anything like that. That's fine. You might think that you're having fun and stuff like that, but so does the kid that's walking into the street or riding a scooter into the street blindly. They might be having fun right now, but it's all fun and games until someone gets hit by the car. Porn is all fun and games until it ruins a marriage. It's all fun and games till it ruins a family, right? And I'm not saying that people who in the porn industry are responsible for the people who watch porn, right? The people who watch porn are the ones that are responsible for watching porn. They are the ones committing a sinful act, right? They are 100% responsible. Just like me going to the Marlboros or the 7-Eleven and getting a pack of Marlboros, right? Who's responsible for getting cigarettes that are gonna kill me one day, right? Me, right? Like that. I'm the one who's paying the money. I'm the one going to the store and making that decision, right? I'm 100% responsible for that. But at the same time, the people producing that content, producing that product are also responsible in a different way. They themselves are going to have to face God on judgment day for a different reason, right? And around the Amouranth situation, right? Going back and circling all the way back to it, right? There's a lot of people that will say, oh, this is an isolated incident. And it's no, this is not an isolated incident, because we as a culture have made it okay for women to sell their bodies for money. It just happens this time that the man is involved too and is taking advantage of the situation as well, right? But this industry, this idea that it doesn't affect other people, it 100% does. There's so many people that are broken. Marriages are broken because of the porn industry. And we need to talk about that too, right? What happened is absolutely horrible to Amouranth. I pray, Lord, please give her a way out of that situation. And Lord, I pray that you change both her heart and her husband's heart to come and know you. Lord, nobody is unredeemable, but please, Lord, bring to light the pain that pornography and other things like OnlyFans can do to a man and a woman. Lord, show us the evil things that go on behind the scenes that the screen does not show, that would convict us to run your race, to have a heart that breaks what breaks your heart. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. There's stories on stories of stories where there's women who are stuck in this porn industry, and the producer's like, hey, you're gonna do this, and they go, no, I don't want to. And the guy goes, oh, if you don't want to do this, then we'll do X, Y, and Z. There are stories on stories on stories and stories. Is it always their husband? Probably not, no, but there are people manipulating people in this industry every single day. And if you don't think that, you are blind, right? You are straight up blind. So there's probably 4 or 5 different avenues that need to be attacked here in the midst of this conversation, right? But at the heart of it, I want to say we as Christians need to fight against porn for the sake of other people, right? Same with like the abortion question, right? Is we need to be people that fight for the innocents. We need to be people that fight for people's lives, right? Sex is the greatest gift God gave us. To profane it with porn is not only a tragic way to dishonor a holy God, but wholly missing out on a good gift of marriage. Facts, 100%. This is the thing I want for anyone that might be struggling with these things right now. Know that nobody's too far gone, right? And the devil wants you to think that you can't do this, right? When Jesus dies on the cross, it says that the shackles, the shackles that sin holds on us, right? The power of sin is removed, right? It no longer has that power. It no longer has that authority, right? I mean, this might be a weird thing to say, but you thinking you're addicted is a lie the devil tells you. because the power of sin has been destroyed on the cross.